org. Okay, so in this video here, this Caledonia Street isn't super complicated with the exception of the roof. And the reason the roof is complicated is because as you look at it, and let me get my full screen up here. As we look at it, oh, why isn't it letting me? Oh, here we go. On a normal house, if this roof was a little bit off, like say it was a 16th of an inch higher on the left versus the right, nobody would care because it never has to connect up. But on this house, it's got a hip roof on the front, and that line has to be perfectly horizontal. So the left and the right side of the roof have to line up 100%, not even a 16th of an inch off. Otherwise, you will never get this porch roof to work. So having looked at this before, the problem is that when you see like this where it's drawing a line, and when you see this where it's not vertical, what's happened here is that this, you can see it got a little bit off of square and on axis, so it's never going to make the plane. And literally you could draw this for 1,000 years trying to draw lines to get it to work, and it will not work. So what we're going to have to do it, now it took me a while, probably took me a half hour to figure this out the first time, but somehow we lost that the first time I figured it out. So this gives me an opportunity to redo it. What we found out is these lines were incorrect and this was incorrect. And really what ended up happening was the left half of the roof is like a 16th of an inch. I forgot, is it either higher or lower than the other side? And so this will never ever connect up on the front. So we're going to go in and actually erase a bunch of lines that we found to be faulty the first time we looked at this. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. And then we're going to just mirror this good side on the right side here over to the left. So I'm going to just go nuts with the eraser basically. And you're missing like about a half hour worth of work of me figuring out which lines were good and which ones we needed to erase. So I'm just going to get rid of the roof basically on this whole left side here. And we're going to just assume the roof on the right side is good, and we're going to do it over. Okay, so I'm going to come in here and just connect this up. You'll notice sometimes if I'm not sure it's in plane, I'll draw it a little bit longer and then erase off the leftover. And then we're going to get this little stub roof out of there. Oh, so this was screwed up before, it wasn't. Okay. This was part of the flip thing. And since somehow we when you tried to reflip it, we lost all that work we did. Okay, so that's what's going on. Well, we can fix this pretty easily. Drawing a horizontal line is not the end of the world. Okay, so let's just go ahead and fix that first. So I'm going to erase, come on, eraser. I'm going to erase this line here. So we got a little bit of a problem with that door being a little bit too long, right? And that porch roof is a little bit too low. We can fix that later. But we're going to assume this front is right as far as our verticals. Is that a valid assumption? Okay, so let's go ahead and get to that and come on axis and hit here. And then we're going to come on axis there. And we're going to come back on axis here. And if we're doing this right, this should be on axis to there. Then we can get our paintbrush. We use that. Boom, boom. Now you're gonna have to redo that back porch because it looks like that thing got drawn at the top of the foundation, not at the top of the floor. So if you look at it here, you can see that this front porch is higher than the back porch. So we're assuming you do the front porch right. Let's just double check to see if that assumption is correct. Boy, SketchUp is on Zoom is not being my friend here. Okay, so let's look here. So this door should be about 6'10" ballpark, right? High, and it is. Okay. This door back here should be 6'10" from the first floor down, and it is. So this basically this porch floor plane needs to get moved up to this level and that column gets shorted. Nod your head if that makes sense. Okay, so we're gonna fix that later. Um, Now what I'm going to do is get rid of some of these extra lines related to that roof. We might have to fill it in on the back. So what we found out from looking is in our struggles here to get this roof plane and everything working out properly. I'm going to just, first off, I'm going to draw a line here so that I can erase this wrong roof slope on the other side. Get rid of this. And we're going to get rid of all this stuff here. And then this is where we found out we had some problems. I'm going to get rid of this plane here. Come on. But we need to see which is the wall line and which are some extra lines as we were trying to get this close. Okay. Oh, that's the we found by that's the one we have to keep because that's making our wall. So we're going to get rid of this and then all these lines. And this is a SketchUp thing. When you got a bunch of lines that you drew in your frustration trying to get things to close, it's better off just to get rid of them all because there's just too many lines in too little of an area to get everything to close properly. So let's see, that one goes away. Let's get our materials gone here. This line goes away. This line goes away. This little stub here goes away. Clean up some more back here. Okay, let's see how this works now. Okay, so the key to this working properly is if I can grab the roof on this side and use the flip mirror command and put it on the other side, then I'll know it's perfectly lined up. As long as this roof was drawn to the center of the house, it should be okay. So let's go ahead and we're going to select all those parts. So we're going to select this. And now I'm going to hit the control key and start adding things in. I'm going to come around to make sure I got the backside too, just to save us from having to do that. Okay, so now I've gotten all of that selected with the exception of this here. So I'm going to hit control again, double click that. So now I'm going to come in here. Here's my flip command. And I want to use the green plane and I want to line it up with the top of that roof. And I'm going to hit the control key to make a copy of it. So now we know it's exactly the same and exactly at the same height. So now I'm going to hit the pointer to get out of that. Now what I'm going to do, hopefully this worked as well as it did last time. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to draw from my endpoint and to this endpoint. And I'm going to come in here and I'm going to draw from this endpoint to that endpoint. It did not make a, oh, it did make a plane. Okay, so we know that that's good now because it wasn't making a plane the first time, I went through this fix thing. And now what I need to do is I need to come into this intersection here. So it turns green for the intersection and I need to come over on axes. And there we go. Now let's save it this time so we don't lose it again. And I'm going to hit no. I'm going to do even one more thing. I'm going to do a save as and save it as a new name. So in case it gets messed up, we can always go back to the archive. Okay, so we're going to save as no, and we're going to call this Caledonia after fixed roof. Save here. So now we can mess with Caledonia after fixed roof to our heart's content, and that other one's still there no matter if we, as we work on it, if we somehow lose the roof again, we can always go back and fix it. Okay, hope this helps. Thank you.